Today in the news, the 4070 Ti is almost here, 3D V-Cache goes high-end, and Nvidia is being the worst once again. What's up guys, I'm Snows, and this is your boot sequence. Let's get started with Nvidia. After the flippity-floppity launch that was the RTX 4000 series, it looks like we're finally about a month away from actually seeing all of the products released. So first, we had the RTX 4090, which launched with okay acclaim. Then more recently, the RTX 4080 16GB, which is a terrible value for your money. Then we saw the unlaunching of the RTX 4080 12GB, and now apparently we're going to see the RTX 4070 Ti in about a month. How do we know that it's a 4070 Ti and not a 4070 or 4070 Super or, I don't know, RTX 4080 Redux? Well, Gigabyte decided to do their EEC filing a little early, and we got their whole lineup of 4070 Ti's right here. There's going to be 8 different models, notably the 2 high-end ones, the Aorus Master and Aorus Elite, and their Aero, Gaming, and Eagle versions with their OC variants. This filing also confirms that it will have 12 GB of GDDR6X memory. CES's opening day is on January 5th, where most of the announcements are going to be, and that's when the RTX 4070 Ti would apparently be announced. At least that's according to an Italian retailer who jumped the gun on a listing. Obviously, this is likely a pre-order now situation that would happen right after the announcement. Other sources, notably WCCF Tech, cites that Nvidia would actually unveil it a little bit earlier, during CES's media days. The 4070 Ti would make the first appearance on the 3rd of January, followed with reviews coming out the next day on the 4th, and then the product launch on the 5th. I don't know if it'll be on the shelves that early, or if we're looking at a pre-order situation, but Nvidia did have all of those board partners manufacture the GPUs, box them up in 4080 fashion, and then had them rename it to 4070 Ti. So what about the price now? Well, let's start with the 4080. As reported by the outlet MyDrivers, the word in the board channels is that the RTX 4080 would get a price cut in mid-December. And while they say that the price cut is to be more competitive against the RX 7900 series from AMD, they also added that Nvidia isn't doing it because they're scared of RDNA 3, but rather just to improve the price to performance ratio of the 4080. As for the 4070 Ti, I guess it will depend on how much the 4080's price drop is, and that's if it actually drops. But we've been hearing that the 4070 Ti would be cheaper than what the original 4080 12GB was, so basically less than $900. My prediction is probably $749, just because it's slightly higher than the $699 that we usually see for the 80 series. I know it's a 70 series card, but I mean, what do you want? It's Nvidia. They're gonna charge whatever they want. So what are your thoughts on pricing? Do you think the 4080 will drop in price? And if it does, how much? 100, 200 bucks? Let me know down below. Speaking of flippity floppity stuff, the AMD 3D V-Cache rumor mill is very undecided. For the last couple of months, all we've been hearing was that the stacked technology on the Ryzen 7000 series would only be for the 6 and the 8 core models. To me, that made sense. I mean, the extra cache is a beast when it comes to gaming. It made the 5800 X3D the king of its generation, and it still competes to this day with higher end CPUs. When it came to productivity testing though, and I'm really talking about content creation here, Puget Systems themselves, I would trust them with anything, well, they said that the X3D model was at best on par with the 5800 X3D and at worst significantly slower. That was mostly due to its slightly lower clock speeds. So yeah, it made sense to me that for gaming, 6 to 8 cores was the sweet spot. Now though, Quasar Zone, a Korean tech outlet, says that we're actually going to get the 8, 12, and 16 core variants instead, called the 7800 X3D, 7900 X3D, and 7950 X3D. That means 2 CCDs with chiplets on the high-end model for a staggering 192 megabytes of cache. Crazy. Once again, I'm not sure who the 12 and 16 core versions would be for, besides maybe specifically gaming content creators. who knows how AMD is going to market this thing. Thankfully though, they say that the clock speeds should be really close, if not the same as their non-X3D parts, which is great since that's what held the 5800 X3D back when it came to productivity. So yeah, that's the rumor. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know down below. Going back to some NVIDIA news, remember when I talked about the RTX 3060 refresh, the one with 8 GB of VRAM instead of 12? Well, it's in the wild right now, and Hardware Unboxed recently got a hold of one. They made a video comparing the new and old versions, and oh boy, it's a doozy. Apparently, the old 12 GB model is about 17% faster on average than the 8 GB one, and sometimes as high as 35% faster at 1080p. I mean, how many times is NVIDIA going to keep messing with the VRAM and acting like nothing's changed? It's been 2 years since the 3060 came out. Now take someone who wants to buy a 3060 and doesn't know better and buys it, well, they would expect the same performance as the one that's been there for so long. But no, it's worse, way worse. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much it for today's catch up. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Drop a like if you liked it, a comment if you want to talk about today's story. As usual, you can click right here to see the latest video right here. To subscribe to the channel. Stay frosty, my dudes, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Whoa. There you go.